There is a truth I must tell you today. The more you chase money, the further it runs from you. Like a frightened bird, it slips through your grasp, flying beyond reach. You run harder, faster, but it escapes. Why? Because you are radiating desperation, and desperation is not magnetic. Money does not come to the desperate. It comes to the confident. It comes to the calm, to the one who knows, deep within, I am provided for. I am worthy. Abundance is mine by divine right. When you stop chasing, you allow money to chase you. The law of life is simple. What you pursue frantically, you repel. What you calmly expect, you attract. Change your energy. Stop saying, I need money. Instead, declare, money flows to me freely, easily, and joyfully. It comes from expected and unexpected places. I live in the flow of abundance. These words are not empty. They are seeds, and when planted in the fertile soil of faith, they bloom into prosperity. The world teaches you to run after money, to hustle, to strain, to fear, but the higher law whispers, be still, know your worth, align with purpose. When you live with clarity, gratitude, and trust, money seeks you out. It finds its way to your vision, your purpose, your confidence. Think of it. A magnet does not chase iron. Iron is drawn to the magnet. In the same way, when you embody certainty, faith, and gratitude, money is irresistibly drawn to you. Gratitude is your greatest attractor. If you cannot appreciate the dollar in your hand, why should the universe trust you with thousands? But when you bless the little multiplies. A thankful heart unlocks invisible vaults. Release the fear, let go of the grip. Trust the higher plan that always provides. Say to yourself, I am a vessel of abundance. I receive joyfully. I live prosperously now. When you do, you'll see opportunities appear, doors open, people call, and streams of income flow like rivers. Stop chasing money, align with abundance, radiate faith, gratitude, and self-worth, and you will discover the miracle. Money no longer hides, it comes looking for you. When people chase money with all their might, when they run after it as though it were the only source of their safety, they unknowingly create an invisible wall between themselves and the very thing they are seeking. Chasing is born from fear, and fear is the great repeller. The energy of desperation whispers into the unseen, I don't have enough, I am not enough, I must fight and struggle for what should be mine. And the universe, like an obedient servant, reflects that belief. Instead of doors opening, they close. Instead of opportunities appearing, they disappear. Instead of money flowing freely, it clogs like water held back by a dam. When you run after money frantically, you broadcast the message that you do not yet possess it, that it is far away from you, that you are incomplete without it. And so it remains far away, it stays incomplete, it keeps hiding because your own energy has declared, I am lacking. But money, like all forms of energy, is not drawn to lack. It does not respond to need. It responds to alignment, to confidence, to expectation. Think of it this way, when you chase after something, you are essentially affirming its absence. Every step in desperation is a declaration. It's not here, it's not mine, I don't have it yet. And those words, spoken silently through your energy, create a self-fulfilling prophecy. The harder you chase, the further it runs. Like a shadow at sunset, the more you sprint, the longer it stretches, and the less you seem able to reach it. But when you stop, when you stand still in the calm assurance of abundance, something extraordinary happens. Money, like the shadow, begins to follow you. When you recognize that your provision is not outside of you but within you, you release the frantic chase and instead step into the quiet, knowing that everything you need is already here. Money does not come to the anxious heart. It comes to the steady one, the one that beats with certainty, with trust, with faith that the supply of the universe is endless and it is already theirs. Picture the farmer who goes into his field every morning and cries out to the soil, Please, I beg you, give me crops. I need crops. I must have crops. His desperation will not make the plants grow faster. His begging will not accelerate the season. The soil does not respond to panic. It responds to seed, to trust, to timing. In the same way, money does not respond to pleading, chasing, or anxiety. It responds to the seed of your belief, the calm assurance of your worth, and the faith that what you have planted in thought and intention will indeed come to pass. When you chase money, you are acting as if it is something separate from you, something foreign, something that must be hunted down and conquered. But money is not an enemy to be hunted. It is a friend to be welcomed. It is not a prize at the end of a long race. It is an energy that flows freely when you allow it. To chase money is to misunderstand its nature. Money is not the master, it is the servant. It does not come to the one who begs. It comes to the one who commands with faith. You must understand that chasing money with fear in your heart only confirms your own disbelief in the abundance around you. When you say, "I must run after it," you are really saying, "I don't believe it will come to me unless I force it." But when you declare, "I live in abundance, I am provided for, money flows to me in divine order from expected and unexpected channels," then you no longer chase, you magnetize, and magnetizing is always easier than chasing. The magnet does not run after the iron filings. It does not sweat, it does not strain. It simply is what it is, and because it holds its own energy, the filings cannot resist. They are drawn in. You are that magnet, but only when you stop weakening yourself with fear and desperation. Think of the times in your life when money came to you most unexpectedly. Was it during moments of fear and panic, or was it during moments when you relaxed, when you trusted, when you simply moved with purpose? The truth is, provision often appears in the stillness, not the striving. Opportunities show up when you are aligned, not when you are frantic. When you loosen your grip and allow the flow, you suddenly see the doors that were invisible before. You notice the people placed in your path, the chances that seem to arrive out of nowhere. But in truth, they were always there. You just could not see them while chasing in desperation. Money is drawn to clarity, not confusion. It is drawn to the one who knows their worth, not the one who doubts it. Imagine someone begging and running after wealth, saying, "Please come to me, please." That is not the language of power, and money does not respond to weakness. But when you stand tall and say, "I am worthy of prosperity. It is my divine right to live in abundance. I claim it, I expect it, I receive it," then you align with the very frequency that calls money forth. You are no longer chasing, you are commanding. You are no longer pleading, you are receiving. Chasing money creates exhaustion, and exhaustion blinds you to opportunity. People spend years running after it, only to find themselves weary, depleted, and still unsatisfied. Why? Because money cannot be chased into your life. It must be welcomed, and welcoming is done not with desperation, but with gratitude, with vision, with purpose. When you stop running and begin trusting, money appears where you least expect it. The futility of chasing money is this: the more you chase, the more you affirm that you don't have, and the law of life is simple. What you affirm expands, affirm lack, and lack multiplies. Affirm abundance, and abundance multiplies. That is why the key is not to chase, but to know. To know within your being that money is already aligned with you, that opportunities are already circling you, waiting for you to be still enough to notice them. Stop running, stop chasing. Let your energy declare not panic, but peace. Say within yourself, "I am safe, I am supported, I am surrounded by endless supply." And as surely as night follows day, money will find its way to you. Not because you chased it, but because you aligned with it. Not because you begged for it, but because you knew it was already yours. Scarcity is a shadow that blinds the eyes and deafens the ears. It whispers lies that there is not enough, that supply is limited, that life is a competition where one must snatch what they can before it runs out. It teaches fear, it teaches hoarding, it teaches smallness. And when a person clings to this shadow, they cannot see the endless supply that flows all around them. Scarcity is the root of struggle, it says. There is not enough for me, so I must chase, I must fight, I must take. But abundance speaks another language. Abundance says, all that I need is already mine. The universe is generous, provision is endless, and I live in a sea of supply. The shift from scarcity to abundance is the turning point that transforms the entire life. When a person thinks scarcity, their actions, their words, their emotions all vibrate with lack. They worry about losing the little they have. They fear spending because they believe it will not return. They cling tightly, clutching to pennies, believing there will never be more. And in doing so, they create a reality where their fears are proven true. Life mirrors belief and scarcity. Thinking brings scarce results. It is not that the universe has withheld. It is that the mind has closed its own gates. Like a clenched fist, nothing new can enter because the hand refuses to release. Scarcity is not a condition of the world. It is a condition of the mind. When you shift into abundance thinking, you enter into alignment with a greater law. You begin to see that wealth is not about what you grasp, but about what you expect. Abundance is not measured by the numbers in a bank account. It is measured by the certainty in your heart. A person who thinks abundantly can hold little in the moment yet walk with the confidence of a king, knowing more is always on the way. They spend with peace because they trust in replenishment. They give with joy because they know the well never runs dry. They speak prosperity and prosperity responds. Their life flows differently, not because circumstances changed first, but because their mind made the shift. Scarcity shrinks, abundance expands. Scarcity creates fear, abundance creates faith. Scarcity blinds you to opportunities. Abundance opens your eyes to possibilities. Two people can stand in the same city, walk the same streets, live under the same sky, and one will see nothing but obstacles, while the other will see countless doors waiting to be opened. What is the difference? The lens of the mind. Scarcity lenses turn doors into walls. Abundance lenses turn walls into doors. Many live as though supply is a pie, and once someone takes a slice, there is less for everyone else. But true abundance knows that supply is not a pie at all. It is an infinite stream, flowing continuously, never running out. One person's gain is not another's loss. The law of abundance says, there is enough for all, and more arriving every moment. Imagine standing at the shore of the ocean. Would you fear scooping a cup of water, thinking it might run dry? Would you panic that there would not be enough for the next person? No, because the ocean is vast, endless to your eyes, constantly replenishing itself. This is the truth of abundance. Life is that ocean. Provision is that endless sea. Money, opportunities, ideas, blessings, all are flowing like waves, and you are not meant to clutch at them in fear, but to receive them with trust. When you live in scarcity, your language betrays you. You say, I can't afford it. I'll never have enough. People like me don't get rich. Times are hard. Money doesn't grow on trees. Every one of these words is a spell, a declaration to the unseen, a command to the law of life. And the law obeys. If you say you cannot afford, life says, so be it. If you say you will never have enough, life answers, as you believe, so shall it be. Scarcity words build scarcity worlds, but abundance words create abundance worlds. Speak differently, and life will respond differently. Instead of I can't, declare I choose. Instead of I lack, declare I am provided for. Instead of there isn't enough, say supply is infinite and I receive it now. Gratitude is the bridge from scarcity to abundance. The one who thinks scarcity says, I don't have enough, I must have more, I will never be satisfied. But the one who thinks abundance says, I bless what I have, I give thanks for every provision, and in my gratitude I multiply. Gratitude transforms the smallest coin into a seed of fortune. When you give thanks for the little grows. When you complain about the little shrinks. Gratitude trains the mind to see the ocean of supply that was always there. It lifts the veil that scarcity has draped over your eyes. The shift to abundance is not about acquiring more, it is about believing more. It is about believing in a source greater than your job, greater than the economy, greater than appearances. Scarcity ties itself to conditions, the paycheck, the market, the balance sheet. Abundance ties itself to the infinite, the divine law, the unseen provision, the endless flow. When you believe only in conditions, you will panic when they change. But when you believe in the unseen supply, you walk steady no matter the season. Rain or drought, you stand secure because you know the stream is eternal. Abundance is not reckless, it is fearless. The one who thinks abundance does not waste, but neither do they hoard. They use wisely, they give joyfully, they receive openly. Their confidence is not in the paper of money, but in the principle of supply. That is why some who hold little can live richly, while others who hold millions live in fear of losing it. Wealth is not the number, wealth is the consciousness. And once consciousness shifts, the outer world follows. Every miracle of prosperity begins with the inner choice to shift from scarcity to abundance. It is the moment you stop saying, "There is not enough," and start declaring, "There is always more on the way." It is when you release the fear that someone else's success diminishes your own, and you celebrate their gain knowing it proves that supply is alive and flowing. It is when you bless money instead of fearing it, when you welcome opportunities instead of doubting them, when you expect good instead of waiting for disaster. Scarcity waits for loss, abundance expects increase. The shift may feel small, but it changes everything. It is like turning the dial on a radio. Scarcity is static, a noisy channel filled with interference and fear. Abundance is music, clear and uplifting, filling your mind with harmony. The music was always there. You simply had to tune in. So it is with prosperity. The abundance was always surrounding you, waiting for your belief to align. When you tune to abundance, the melody of supply begins to play in your life. You find yourself in the right place at the right time. You meet people who open doors. Ideas drop into your mind that create wealth. The flow begins, not because you chased, but because you shifted. There is a law that governs the flow of life, a law so powerful and yet so often ignored, the law of non-resistance. Resistance is the force that blocks, delays, and obstructs the good that is already trying to reach you. It is like a dam built across a river. The water is abundant, it is flowing. It is ready to nourish the land, but the dam of resistance holds it back. In the same way, abundance is always flowing. Opportunities are always circling. Money is always in motion. But when you resist, when you fight, when you fear, you build invisible barriers that stop the flow. Non-resistance does not mean weakness. It means alignment. It means dropping the struggle, loosening the grip, and allowing life to deliver what is already yours. Most people resist without even knowing it. They resist through worry, through fear, through doubt. They resist by constantly speaking of their problems, by rehearsing their limitations, by holding tightly to how they think things must unfold. They declare that money can only come through this job, this client, this investment, and when those doors seem closed, they panic. Yet the universe is infinite, supply is endless, and streams of provision are without number. Non-resistance is the art of releasing the belief that your good can only come in one form. It is the choice to trust that if one door closes, another will open, and if one stream dries, a greater one will appear. Resistance is born from fear, but fear is an illusion. Fear is the belief that there is not enough, that you must hold on, that you must struggle to survive. Fear resists the flow, and resistance creates tension. Imagine standing in a river, clinging to a rock, refusing to let go because you fear the current. You struggle, you strain, you exhaust yourself, yet all the while the river is moving in the direction of your good. If only you would release the rock, the current would carry you with ease. But resistance keeps you stuck, trapped in place, weary from the fight. Non-resistance is the moment you let go. You stop fighting the current, you trust its direction, and suddenly you find yourself carried farther, faster, with less effort than you ever imagined. When you resist, you attract more of what you resist. Complain about lack, and lack multiplies. Fight against delay, and delay grows longer. Resist the very idea of money flowing to others, and you unconsciously push it away from yourself. But when you practice non-resistance, you open the gates. You say, I release the struggle, I trust the process. I know that what is mine cannot be withheld, and what is not mine will fall away. That simple act of release clears the channel. Suddenly, opportunities that seemed stuck begin to move. People you thought had forgotten you reach out. Circumstances rearrange in your favor, not because you forced them, but because you stopped resisting them. Money is energy, and energy follows ease. Money does not flow where there is tension, where there is fear, where there is struggle. It flows where there is trust, where there is calm, where there is non-resistance. Think of a garden hose. When it is twisted and bent, the water slows to a trickle. You could shake the hose, bang it against the ground, grow angry at its resistance, but none of that will release the water. The only way to restore the flow is to straighten the hose, to release the obstruction. In the same way, resistance bends the channels of your life. It twists them with fear, doubt, and control. Non-resistance untwists them, clears them, and allows the natural flow of prosperity to resume. Non-resistance does not mean passivity, it means power. The one who resists is controlled by circumstance. The one who releases is guided by faith. When you practice non-resistance, you stop forcing life to follow your limited plan and instead allow the higher plan to unfold. You release the need to control every detail, and in doing so, you make room for miracles, for it is often in the letting go that the unexpected blessing appears. The job you thought you had to have slips away, only to be replaced by one far greater. The deal you resisted falling through collapses, only to clear space for a more profitable one. Non-resistance trusts that life knows better than fear. So many people delay their prosperity because they fight against the very conditions that are shaping them. They resist setbacks, resist change, resist detours, not realizing these are part of the divine arrangement leading them to greater abundance. To practice non-resistance is to bless every circumstance, even the one that appears difficult, saying, "This too is for my good. This too will pass, and out of it will come something greater." That faith, that release, dissolves the tension and allows the hidden good to reveal itself. Resistance blocks vision, non-resistance opens eyes. Suddenly, what once looked like a closed door becomes a hidden passage. What once seemed like a loss reveals itself as a gain. Money flows to those who stop resisting. It flows to the open hand, not the clenched fist. It flows to the mind that trusts, not the one that doubts. When you are constantly tense about bills, angry about expenses, fearful about loss, you are resisting. But when you release, when you bless the money that goes out knowing more will return, you step into the current of non-resistance. You stop treating money as a master and recognize it as a servant, one that will gladly obey when you stop pushing it away with fear. Non-resistance is the secret behind ease. Life was never meant to be a constant battle. Yes, effort is required, but effort is not struggle. Work is not worry. Action is not resistance. When you act from inspiration, from calm certainty, your steps are guided, your work is multiplied, your results are magnified. But when you act from resistance, from fear and desperation, you burn energy and see little return. The difference is the state of your mind and heart. Non-resistance allows you to act with power, not panic. The law of non-resistance says, yield to the higher flow and you will find abundance already waiting for you. Stop wrestling with life. Stop clinging to the rock of fear. Stop demanding that things unfold only in the way you can imagine. Release the need to control, and life will surprise you with outcomes far greater than your limited mind could plan. As long as you resist, you suffer, but the moment you let go, you rise. Non-resistance is not surrender to defeat, it is surrender to victory. It is choosing trust over fear, faith over force, flow over fight. And in that choice, prosperity is no longer delayed, it is delivered. There is a great difference between the one who chases and the one who attracts. The chaser runs with fear, exhaustion, and desperation, believing that what they desire is far from them, just out of reach, and must be pursued relentlessly. The magnet, on the other hand, stands in stillness, certain in its power, knowing that what belongs to it cannot resist being drawn in. Money, like all forms of energy, is not seduced by chasing. It is pulled by magnetism. To become a magnet, it is to embody the qualities that money finds irresistible: certainty, gratitude, faith, and purpose. The one who chases spends a lifetime running. The one who magnetizes spends a lifetime receiving. When you chase money, you are declaring with every action, I do not have it, I must run after it, I must prove myself to be worthy of it. That energy creates distance. It sends a signal to the universe that says, this thing is outside of me, separate from me, beyond me. And so it remains beyond. But when you stand as a magnet, you do not chase, you command. You radiate an inner vibration of wealth, and money, opportunity, and resources are drawn to you as naturally as metal filings to a magnet. The magnet does not beg, does not strain, does not pursue. It simply is, and by being, it attracts. Becoming a magnet begins in the mind. The thoughts you hold are frequencies, and those frequencies determine what comes into your life. The one who thinks thoughts of lack, of I can't, I don't, I never will, weakens their own pull. The one who affirms abundance, who says, I live in supply, I am worthy of wealth, money flows to me freely, strengthens their magnetism. Life responds to certainty. Money follows confidence. Opportunities bow before faith. To become magnetic, you must cultivate an inner knowing that abundance is your natural state, not something you chase after but something you allow. Think of the sun. It does not chase the planets around it. It simply shines in its own radiance, and the planets are held in orbit by its power. The sun does not plead for light, it radiates light. The sun does not ask permission to shine, it shines. You, too, must stand in your own radiance. Stop begging money to notice you. Stop running after opportunities with desperation. Instead, embody the light of certainty, the fire of gratitude, the glow of faith. Shine so brightly in your purpose that money cannot help but circle around you, drawn in by the force of who you are becoming. The magnet is never frantic, never anxious, never desperate. It does not say, what if nothing comes? What if I fail? What if I am left with nothing? These are the words of the chaser, and the chaser forever runs in circles. The magnet says, what is mine is already on its way. I live in divine timing. I am aligned with the flow of prosperity. And because the magnet believes, the magnet receives. Calm expectation is more powerful than frantic effort. Quiet faith moves mountains where restless chasing only creates dust. To become a magnet, you must recognize your worth, for money is drawn to self, worth like bees to nectar. If within yourself you secretly believe, I am not worthy of wealth, I do not deserve prosperity, others can have it but not me, you weaken your magnet. Even if opportunities arrive, they slip away because your energy cannot hold them. But when you stand firm and declare, I am worthy of wealth, prosperity is my divine right, abundance belongs to me as surely as the air I breathe, you strengthen your pull, money begins to flow in, not because you ran after it, but because you finally became a vessel capable of holding it. You see, money does not seek out the frantic or the fearful. It seeks out order, clarity, and purpose. It flows toward vision. If your purpose is clear, if your vision is strong, if your faith is steady, then money will find you to fund that vision. The magnet does not need to chase because the universe funds purpose, not panic. Money will always chase vision, for vision creates movement, service, and growth. But money avoids desperation, for desperation creates chaos and loss. Align your desire for wealth with a greater purpose, and the flow of money will follow naturally. Gratitude is another quality of the magnet. The one who chases is never satisfied, always saying, "It is not enough, I need more, I must have more." That energy pushes prosperity away, for the universe does not give more to the one who despises the little they already have. But the magnet says, "I bless what I have. I give thanks for every coin, every dollar, every opportunity." Gratitude multiplies because gratitude aligns with abundance. The grateful heart becomes magnetic, radiating joy, drawing in greater supply. To become a magnet, you must bless every provision, however small, knowing that each blessing is a seed of greater abundance on the way. Becoming a magnet requires releasing fear. The chaser clings tightly, worrying that money will leave, that opportunities will disappear, that success will be fleeting. This tight grip suffocates the flow. But the magnet is fearless. The magnet trusts that what belongs to it will come, that what is meant to stay will remain, and that even if one stream ends, another will begin. Fear closes doors, trust opens them. Fear weakens your pull, faith strengthens it. When you release fear, you radiate calm power, and that power is magnetic. Think of the people you have met in your life who seemed to attract opportunities wherever they went. They were not necessarily the most talented, the most educated, or the most experienced, but they carried a presence, a confidence, a calm assurance that made others want to work with them, invest in them, bless them. That is magnetism. It is not about chasing opportunities. It is about becoming the kind of person opportunities cannot resist. You too can embody that presence when you align your thoughts, your words, and your energy with abundance. Every time you chase, you declare lack. Every time you magnetize, you declare abundance. The chaser says, "It is far from me, I must go after it." The magnet says, "It is already mine, it must come to me." Life always obeys the dominant declaration. To live as a magnet is to live in expectancy, to stand in your worth, to radiate faith and gratitude so powerfully that prosperity comes searching for you. You will not need to run after it. It will run after you. There is a silent law that governs abundance, a law that often goes unnoticed by those who spend their lives struggling for money. This law is the law of worthiness. Wealth does not simply flow to those who wish for it or even work for it. It flows to those who believe they deserve it. Self-worth is the invisible gatekeeper of prosperity, the unseen key that either opens the vaults of abundance or keeps them locked. You can say affirmations all day, you can work tirelessly night after night. But if deep inside your heart you whisper, "I do not deserve it, I am not worthy, I am not enough," then you are closing the very door you are trying so hard to enter. Money responds to energy, and your sense of worth is the strongest energy you carry. If you believe you are unworthy, your actions will reflect it. You will undercharge for your skills. You will settle for less than you deserve. You will apologize for asking. You will hesitate to receive. You will push away blessings because somewhere deep inside you cannot accept them. This is why so many people, even after earning money, lose it quickly. They cannot hold wealth because their inner vessel is cracked by unworthiness. The blessing leaks away. Until you repair the foundation of your own deservingness, money cannot stay. But when you know your worth, you radiate a power that cannot be ignored. You walk differently, you speak differently, you carry yourself with a presence that demands recognition. You do not beg opportunities, you attract them. You do not shrink, you expand. You do not fear asking for your value. You expect it because you understand that you are not an accident, you are not here by mistake, and you are not unworthy of abundance. You were born with divine value, and when you embrace that truth, money flows to you like a river finding its course. Think of this: a diamond does not apologize for its brilliance. It does not say, "I am too much, I shine too brightly, I am not worthy of being worn." No, the diamond simply exists in its value, and the world pays any price to possess it. And yet, how many of us hide our brilliance? How many of us dim our light, undervalue our skills, undercut our prices, simply because we fear that we are not worth more? The truth is, you are the diamond. Your talents, your vision, your existence itself is rare, unique, and powerful. The moment you stop apologizing for your worth, you open the door to wealth. Worthiness is not arrogance, it is alignment. Arrogance says, I am better than others. Worthiness says, I am equal to others, and abundance belongs to me as much as it belongs to anyone. Arrogance pushes wealth away, but true worthiness invites it in. When you stand tall in your worth, you do not steal from others. You give others permission to do the same. You become an example, a reminder that every soul is deserving of prosperity. Many people chase money because they think money will finally make them feel worthy. They believe, if I earn enough, then I will be valuable. If I succeed enough, then I will deserve love, respect, and admiration. But this is the great illusion. Money does not create worth. Worth creates money. You do not become worthy because you have wealth. You have wealth because you know you are worthy. If you reverse this order, you will spend your whole life chasing an illusion, forever grasping, forever running, never satisfied. But if you claim your worth first, money will come as a natural response. Self-worth is not about what you own, what you wear, what you drive, or where you live. It is about how you see yourself when everything is stripped away. Do you still believe you are valuable? Do you still know that you matter, that you are deserving, that you are enough? When you can answer yes to that question, then wealth has no choice but to reflect that belief back to you. The outside world is only a mirror of your inner conviction. If you see yourself as poor, life mirrors poverty. If you see yourself as abundant, life mirrors abundance. The universe will always confirm what you believe about yourself. And let me tell you this truth, you deserve abundance simply because you exist. You were created by divine intelligence, and divine intelligence does not create without purpose. You are not here to suffer endlessly, to scrape by, to merely survive. You are here to express life fully, to expand, to create, to flourish. Prosperity is not a luxury, it is a birthright. It is the fuel that allows you to live your purpose, to give generously, to inspire others. To deny yourself abundance is to deny your purpose. To accept abundance is to honor the life you were given. Consider the way a garden works. The soil does not apologize for producing flowers. The tree does not question whether it deserves to bear fruit. The ocean does not wonder if it deserves to fill with waves. Nature accepts abundance as natural, effortless, automatic. Only humans resist, and why? Because of false beliefs, taught by fear, handed down by those who themselves felt unworthy. Break this chain, stand in your worth. Remember that you, like the tree, like the ocean, like the garden, are meant to overflow. When you raise your sense of worthiness, money will begin to meet you at that level. You will no longer attract jobs that underpay, relationships that drain you, or opportunities that diminish you. You will attract experiences that honor your value. You will receive offers that reflect your skills. You will be surrounded by people who see your greatness because you finally see it yourself. And this is the key. The world can only mirror back what you hold within. If you want the world to see your value, you must see it first. This is why affirmations, spoken with conviction, are so powerful. When you declare, I am worthy of wealth, I deserve abundance, I am open to receive all the good life has for me, you are reprogramming the inner voice of doubt. You are rewriting the story of unworthiness. Every time you affirm your deservingness, you strengthen your magnet. Every time you claim your value, you expand your capacity to receive. And the universe, hearing your declaration, will rearrange itself to match your belief. So understand this deeply. Money is not holding itself back from you. Opportunity is not avoiding you. It is your own sense of unworthiness that creates the barrier. The moment you declare with faith and certainty, I am enough, I am worthy, I deserve abundance, you unlock the gates. Self-worth is the password. Deservingness is the key. With them, you step into the flow of prosperity. Without them, you will always stand outside the door, knocking, wondering why it does not open. But the door has never been locked. It has been waiting for you to remember who you are. Panic is the language of fear, while purpose is the language of power. The person who operates from panic runs in circles, grasping, rushing, worrying that time is slipping away, that opportunities are scarce, that everything must be chased before it disappears. But the one who stands in purpose is steady, calm, and immovable, like a lighthouse on the shore. The waves may crash, the storm may rage, but the lighthouse does not panic. It shines its light, faithful to its purpose, and by that light, ships are guided, opportunities are drawn, and provision comes. When you move in panic, you are declaring to life that you are not supported. You are telling the universe, I am alone, I am unsafe, I must scramble or I will fail. This energy pushes prosperity away because prosperity cannot flow into chaos. Money avoids frantic energy, just as you avoid a house that feels unstable or dangerous. Panic is a sign that you have forgotten your source. But when you align with purpose, you declare, I am guided, I am supported, I am here for a reason, and my needs are already provided for. Purpose calms the storm within, and in that calmness, doors begin to open. Panic says there is not enough. Purpose says there is always more. Panic says I must rush before I lose it all. Purpose says what belongs to me will never miss me. Panic is rooted in scarcity. Purpose is rooted in abundance. If you want to be magnetic to money, to opportunity, to success, you must let go of panic and embrace purpose. You must anchor yourself in the belief that life does not abandon its own. Just as the earth provides soil for the seed, just as the sky provides air for the bird, just as the sea provides waves for the fish, so too does life provide supply for you. Think of the farmer. He does not plant seeds today and then panic tomorrow, digging them up to see if they are growing. He trusts the process. He knows that the seed, once planted, is already moving toward harvest, even though he cannot see it. He waters it, he tends to it, but he does not panic. Panic would destroy the seed. Faithful purpose allows the seed to grow. In the same way, you must plant the seeds of your dreams with confidence, not fear. You must believe that the soil of life is rich and fertile, and that in due time the harvest will appear. Panic drains your energy, it scatters your focus, it leads you to make poor decisions, to grab at shortcuts, to compromise your values. Purpose, however, energizes you, it clarifies your vision, it keeps you steady even when results do not show immediately. A person in panic may chase after quick money schemes, desperate deals, or false promises. A person in purpose builds something lasting, something real, something that continues to grow. Panic collapses, purpose endures. Money is drawn to clarity, not confusion. When you are aligned with purpose, you are clear about why you do what you do, who you serve, and what you bring to the world. That clarity attracts resources. People are willing to invest in those who have vision, not in those who are scrambling in fear. Purpose makes you trustworthy. Panic makes you unstable. Ask yourself, would you invest in someone who is frantic, fearful, always rushing without direction? Or would you invest in someone calm, focused, and driven by a clear purpose? The answer is obvious, and so it is with life. The truth is, money is not the ultimate goal. Purpose is. Money is simply the servant, the tool, the support that follows purpose. When you chase money, you panic, because money is never enough. There is always more to chase, always another bill, another need, another demand. But when you chase purpose, money comes willingly, because money recognizes where it is needed. Money wants to flow where it will create growth, where it will expand life, where it will be put to good use. Align yourself with purpose, and you will never lack, because provision always follows vision. There is a saying, provision is for the vision. This means that when your life has direction, when your work has meaning, when your actions serve a greater purpose than mere survival, then the resources you need will find their way to you. The panic-driven person believes that money is scarce, that it must be clutched tightly, hoarded, chased after before it slips away. But the purpose-driven person knows that money is abundant, that it flows like a river, and that the river bends toward those who are building something meaningful. Release panic, for panic only makes you weak. Panic is the voice that says, you are not enough, you will never make it, You must run faster or you will be left behind. But purpose silences that voice and replaces it with truth. You are here on assignment. You are not forgotten. You are supported by divine intelligence. All that you need is already being prepared. When you walk in purpose, your steps are guided. The right people appear. The right opportunities arise. The right ideas are revealed. Life itself conspires to support you because you are moving with the flow of destiny. Fear often disguises itself as urgency, but not all urgency is divine. Panic urgency is frantic and shallow, but purposeful urgency is focused and empowering. When you are aligned with purpose, you may feel urgency, but it is not fear-based, it is passion-based. It is the energy of knowing that your vision matters, that your contribution is needed, that your work has weight. This kind of urgency does not deplete you, it fuels you. It does not scatter your energy, it sharpens it. That is the difference between panic and purpose. Look back at your own life. The moments when you acted from panic, did they lead to abundance, or did they lead to mistakes, losses, or exhaustion? And the moments when you acted from calm conviction, from clear purpose, did they not open doors, create opportunities, and bring peace to your spirit? This is the proof that purpose is the true magnet of prosperity. When you align with purpose, you are no longer chasing money. You are living in such a way that money must find you. Purpose is the antidote to panic. Purpose is the anchor in the storm. Purpose is the inner fire that keeps you steady when the world tries to shake you. And the more you align with your purpose, the more you will see money flow naturally into your life. Not because you were desperate for it, not because you chased it down, but because it was drawn to the light of your conviction. There is a rhythm to life, a flow that moves like the tide of the ocean, a current that cannot be resisted or broken. It is the law of giving and receiving. Everything in creation moves in this sacred balance. The sun gives light, and the earth receives it. The earth gives harvest, and humanity receives it. Humanity gives labor, and creation receives it. To break this rhythm is to block the flow, but to honor it is to open the floodgates of abundance. Money itself obeys this law, for money is not meant to be clutched in fear but circulated in faith. The more you give with love, the more room you create to receive. So many people hold back, thinking, if I give, I will lose. If I share, I will lack. If I release, I will be left empty. This is the language of fear, and fear always shuts doors. Fear convinces you that money is finite, that wealth is a limited pie where if one receives, another must lack. But the truth is that money, like energy, multiplies when it flows. It grows when it is in motion. Stagnation creates decay, but circulation creates expansion. To hold tightly to what you have is to live in distrust of the universe's infinite supply. To release with faith is to declare, I know there is always more where this came from. The law of giving and receiving is not about reckless charity or thoughtless spending. It is about intentional generosity, rooted in faith, guided by wisdom, and carried by joy. When you give with resentment or fear, you plant seeds of lack. But when you give with love, with gladness, with trust that life always returns what you sow, you plant seeds of multiplication. Every gift given in the right spirit is a seed, and every seed must yield a harvest. This is not a maybe, this is a law. Look at the farmer once more. He gives his seeds to the earth. To the unknowing, it might seem as though he is losing, throwing away what could have been food for today. But the farmer is wise. He knows that what he gives will return multiplied, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. He gives a handful, but he reaps a field. He does not fear the giving, for he trusts the law of return. And so it is with money. When you give with trust, when you release with joy, what you send out circles back to you multiplied. There are people who spend their whole lives clutching, hoarding, never giving, never circulating, and they wonder why their wealth never grows. They may even appear rich for a time, but their lives are hollow, their hearts empty, and their money fragile. For what is held too tightly eventually slips away. Then there are those who give freely, who bless others, who circulate with wisdom and love, and somehow, no matter how much they give, they are never without. Their lives overflow because they understand the law. They know that the channel through which money flows must remain open, and the more they give, the wider that channel becomes. Giving is not always about money. Sometimes it is about time, kindness, encouragement, service, or love. Every act of genuine giving strengthens your magnetism. Every blessing you release creates room for blessings to return. If you want more joy, give joy. If you want more love, give love. If you want more opportunity, create opportunity for others. If you want more money, give money in faith. Whatever you plant, you harvest. Life is a mirror, always reflecting back to you what you release into it. But here is the key. You must also know how to receive. Some people give endlessly but resist receiving. They turn away compliments. They feel guilty when help is offered. They shrink when blessings come. This too blocks the flow. Giving without receiving is imbalance, and imbalance creates struggle. The law requires both. You give with joy, and you receive with gratitude. To refuse to receive is to insult the giver and to declare yourself unworthy of the blessing. But you are worthy, and you must stand in that worthiness, opening your arms to receive fully what life longs to send you. Think of your breath. You inhale and you exhale. You cannot only inhale and you cannot only exhale. Both are needed for life. Giving and receiving are the same. You give, you release, you bless, and then you receive, you accept, you expand. If you only take, you suffocate. If you only give, you collapse, but in the rhythm of both you live fully. Every time you give, say within yourself, this gift returns to me multiplied. Every time you receive, say within yourself, I accept this blessing with gratitude, knowing that by receiving, I keep the flow alive. Gratitude seals the law. It is the water that nourishes the seed of giving and the joy that completes the harvest of receiving. Without gratitude, giving becomes obligation and receiving becomes entitlement. But with gratitude, giving becomes sacred and receiving becomes divine. When you align yourself with this law, panic disappears. You no longer fear spending because you know more will come. You no longer fear lack because you understand that supply is infinite. You no longer clutch your wealth in desperation because you know that whatever you release will circle back with increase. You begin to live in a rhythm, a divine dance, a flow where money is not an enemy to be chased or a master to be feared, but a faithful servant responding to your giving and receiving. So ask yourself, where can you give today? Where can you circulate? Where can you bless? And then, when the blessing returns, will you receive it with open arms, with joy, with worthiness? For as surely as the tide goes out, it comes back in. As surely as the seed leaves the hand, it returns as a harvest. As surely as you give, you will receive. And when you master this law, you will never again live in fear of lack, because you will know that every gift you release is already on its way back to you in greater measure. Fear is the great thief. It steals dreams before they are born. It locks doors that were meant to be opened. It whispers lies that keep people small, limited, and bound. Fear says, you cannot, you will fail, you are not enough. The world is dangerous, and you must shrink to survive. But faith, oh faith, is the great liberator. Faith says you can, you will, you are more than enough. The universe is friendly, life supports you, and the moment you step forward, provision will meet you. The entire difference between a life of struggle and a life of abundance is this. Will you listen to fear, or will you cultivate faith? Fear chases money in desperation. It pushes you into panic, into frantic decisions, into grasping at crumbs, because you are terrified the feast will never come. Fear makes you hoard, makes you hold back, makes you shrink your vision to fit your doubts. Faith, however, does not chase. Faith magnetizes. Faith declares, what is mine is already on its way. What I need will come. I live in supply, not in lack. Faith expands your vision. Faith allows you to dream bigger, to step into opportunities without trembling, to believe that you deserve abundance and that the world has more than enough to give. Every decision you make comes down to fear or faith. Fear closes doors. Faith opens them. Fear keeps you small. Faith makes you great. Fear whispers of loss. Faith sings of increase. The one who lives by fear becomes like a bird in a cage, wings clipped by doubt, never soaring into the sky. The one who lives by faith is like the eagle, rising high above the storms, carried by unseen currents of wind. You were never meant to crawl in fear. You were meant to soar in faith. Faith is not blind hope. It is not wishing without foundation. Faith is alignment with the truth that the universe is abundant, that God's supply is infinite, that you are a child of creation and therefore never abandoned, never forsaken, never forgotten. Faith sees what fear cannot see. Fear sees only the empty bank account. Faith sees the opportunity rising behind the scenes. Fear sees the rejection letter. Faith sees the door opening elsewhere. Fear sees loss. Faith sees preparation for greater gain. Faith is not denial, it is vision. It looks beyond appearances into the deeper truth that supply is always present, always moving, always flowing to those who trust. If you want money to chase you, if you want prosperity to find you, you must stop bowing before fear and start standing in faith. Fear weakens your magnetism. Fear broadcasts the signal of lack, telling the world, I do not believe, I do not trust, I am not ready to receive. Faith strengthens your magnetism. Faith sends the signal, I am ready, I am open, I am worthy, I am expectant. And life responds. Money is drawn to faith because faith creates clarity, steadiness, and vision. Money flees from fear because fear creates chaos, instability, and limitation. Consider how often fear has stopped you. How many times did you hold back from asking for what you deserved because you feared rejection? How many times did you cling to a small, unsatisfying job because you feared there was nothing better? How many times did you refuse to invest in yourself because you feared the money would not return? Fear shrinks your life into a prison of what-ifs. But faith says, even if I cannot see the full path, I will step forward. Even if I do not have it all figured out, I will trust that the next stone will appear beneath my feet. And the moment you step in faith, the way begins to clear. The truth is this: the universe does not reward fear, it rewards faith. The fearful bury their talents, waiting for some guarantee of safety that never comes. The faithful put their talents to work, and because they trust, their gifts multiply. The fearful speak words of lack, I cannot afford, I will never have, it is too hard, and those words become their reality. The faithful speak words of abundance, I live in supply, I receive with ease, I expect increase, and those words shape their experience. Words are seeds, and fear sows weeds while faith sows gardens. Faith is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to move anyway. Courage is not about never feeling afraid, it is about choosing not to let fear control you. The person of faith may still feel fear knocking at the door, but they refuse to let it enter. They answer instead with truth, with affirmations of abundance, with declarations of worthiness. They feed faith daily because they know that what you feed grows and what you starve dies. If you keep feeding fear with your thoughts, your worries, your words, it will grow into a giant. But if you feed faith with gratitude, with affirmations, with expectancy, it will grow stronger until fear has no power over you. Think of a lamp in a dark room. The darkness does not fight the light. The moment the lamp is lit, the darkness disappears. Fear is like darkness. Faith is like light. The moment you switch on faith, fear cannot remain. It may whisper, but it loses its power. Faith shines brighter, and with that light you see possibilities, you see opportunities. You see the abundance that was always there but hidden by shadows of doubt. Fear says, what if I fail? Faith says, what if I succeed? Fear says, what if I lose everything? Faith says, what if I gain more than I ever dreamed? Fear says, what if there is not enough? Faith says, there is more than enough and more is on its way. Which voice will you choose to listen to? Because the voice you choose determines the reality you live. Faith must be practiced like a muscle. Each day, you train it by refusing to let fear dictate your choices. Each time you choose to trust, even in small things, your faith grows stronger. Each time you speak words of abundance instead of lack, you reinforce the vibration of prosperity. Each time you act as though supply is certain, you prove your faith and the universe responds. Small steps of faith create great leaps of abundance. When fear tries to grip you, remember this: you are not alone. The same intelligence that created the stars, that carved the rivers, that formed the mountains, created you. Do you believe that such power would create you and then abandon you? Impossible. You are provided for. You are supported. You are guided. Faith is simply remembering what fear makes you forget: that you are a child of abundance and nothing is withheld from you. So cultivate faith, water it with gratitude, feed it with expectancy, protect it from the weeds of doubt. Live by faith, and you will rise above fear. Live by faith, and money will come, not because you chased it in panic, but because your faith made you magnetic, your faith made you calm, your faith made you open. Faith is the soil where prosperity grows. Fear is the desert where nothing survives. Choose the soil, plant your seeds, and watch the garden of abundance bloom around you. Money is not merely coins and paper. It is not just numbers glowing on a screen. It is a mirror, a reflection of what you believe about yourself, about life, and about supply. Every dollar, every opportunity, every increase you receive flows from the unseen to the seen, from the invisible world of thought and belief to the visible world of form. If your inner world is filled with doubt, unworthiness, and fear, the outer world of money will reflect that back to you as lack, limitation, and struggle. If your inner world is filled with expectancy, confidence, and faith in abundance, your outer world will respond with opportunities, provision, and overflow. Life is not happening to you, it is happening through you, and money is one of the clearest reflections of the beliefs you hold within. You can look at your financial life right now as a teacher. It is showing you your faith, your fears, your stories, your subconscious scripts. When money seems scarce, it is not because the world has run out of supply. It is because inwardly, something in you believes in scarcity. When money flows with ease, it is not luck or coincidence. It is because inwardly you believe in your worthiness, in provision, in your right to receive. Money simply echoes what is already happening in your mind and heart. So many people chase money as if it were outside of themselves, as if it lived in the hands of others, as if it were a prize they must earn by grinding, hustling, and proving. They forget that money is energy, and energy responds to belief. The hustler who works without belief may toil endlessly yet see little fruit, while the one who works with faith, joy, and confidence often sees doors open effortlessly. The difference is not the labor, but the inner belief that shapes the labor. What do you believe about yourself when it comes to money? Do you secretly feel unworthy of wealth? Do you believe that abundance belongs only to a lucky few while you must settle for less? Do you carry guilt, shame, or resentment around money? Every one of those beliefs shapes your reality, because your outer world cannot rise above the ceiling of your inner conviction. If you believe you are unworthy, money may come, but it will slip through your fingers. If you believe money is evil, you will repel it unconsciously, even while outwardly claiming to want it. If you believe life is hard and supply is limited, you will continually experience struggle and limitation. But if you change the belief, you change the reflection. Money comes easily to those who believe it can. It lingers with those who believe they deserve it. It multiplies with those who believe in increase. It serves those who believe it is a tool for good, and it avoids those who curse it as evil. Your belief about money is the key that either opens or locks the door. The universe is impartial. It simply reflects back what you broadcast. If you send out the vibration of lack, lack returns. If you send out the vibration of abundance, abundance returns. This is not wishful thinking. It is law, the same law that governs the seasons, the tides, and the stars. The good news is that beliefs can be changed. They are not carved in stone. They are thoughts you have thought so often they became habits. You can choose new thoughts, affirm new truths, and write a new script. Begin by asking yourself, what do I truly believe about money? Not what I wish I believed, but what do I honestly feel when I think about wealth, success, and abundance? Do I feel excitement, peace, and expectancy? Or do I feel anxiety, guilt, and resistance? Be honest, because your feelings reveal your beliefs. And once you see the belief, you can change it. Suppose you believe deep down, I never have enough. Life will echo that back to you. Bills that pile up, opportunities that vanish, expenses that consume every increase. But if you begin to affirm, I always have more than enough, supply comes to me easily, I am worthy of abundance, and you speak it daily with conviction, little by little the inner belief changes and the outer reflection must change with it. You are not trying to convince the universe already knows supply is infinite. You are convincing yourself, you are reprogramming the mirror so it can reflect something greater. Money does not make you worthy. Your worthiness is already established. But if you believe you are unworthy, money cannot stay with you because you will unconsciously push it away. People sabotage their own finances not because they lack ability, but because they cannot accept abundance into a heart that believes it does not deserve it. Worthiness is the foundation. The moment you believe, truly believe, I am worthy of receiving all that life has to offer, money begins to show up in ways that surprise and delight you. Think of money like water in a river. The river is always flowing, always moving. If you build a dam of negative beliefs, the flow stops. But the river itself never dries up. It only stops reaching you because of your dam. Tear down the dam of unworthiness, fear, and lack, and the water rushes in again. The flow was always there, waiting for your inner permission. The reflection of money also shows you how much you believe in joy and ease. Many people believe money must come through struggle, that only hard labor can produce wealth. But that is a belief, not a law. If you believe money must come with difficulty, you will find yourself in endless difficulty. If you believe money can come with ease, through creativity, through alignment, through inspiration, you will find opportunities that feel joyful and natural. The reflection shifts when the belief shifts. Money reflects your relationship with giving and receiving. If you believe giving depletes you, you will fear generosity, and your reflection will be a world where nothing flows. But if you believe giving multiplies, you will give freely, and life will reflect it back with multiplied returns. If you believe receiving is selfish, you will block the flow and live in lack. But if you believe receiving is natural, you will allow life to bless you. Every act of giving and receiving reveals the belief behind it, and money simply mirrors it. To change your financial reflection, you must first change your inner image. See yourself as prosperous. Speak of yourself as abundant. Act as though money flows freely. Even if your current reflection is small, begin to believe bigger, and the mirror will eventually catch up. You do not wait for the reflection to change before you believe. You believe first, and the reflection follows. A person who stands before a mirror knows that the reflection changes only when they themselves move. So too with money, move inwardly, and the outer picture shifts. The truth is simple. Money is a servant, a mirror, a reflection. It shows you who you believe yourself to be and what you believe life to be. If you do not like the reflection, do not curse the mirror. Change the belief it is reflecting. The moment you align your inner belief with abundance, money will rise to match it faithfully, like a mirror cannot help but echo the image before it. Prosperity is not something you must chase. It is not something rare, distant, or reserved only for the few. Prosperity is the natural state of your being. Just as the sun does not struggle to shine, just as the flowers do not struggle to bloom, just as the rivers do not struggle to flow, you were created to prosper, to expand, to flourish. Lack is unnatural, fear is unnatural, and struggle is unnatural. Yet many have been trained to believe that scarcity is normal, that success is for the chosen few, that abundance is a privilege rather than a birthright. This is a lie woven by fear and sustained by false belief. The truth is that you were created from infinite abundance, and prosperity is as natural to you as the air you breathe. Look around you at creation. Does nature hoard? Does it fear running out? The trees release their fruit freely. The fields produce harvest season after season. The oceans are filled with life beyond measure, and the stars light the sky in numbers beyond counting. Scarcity is not written in the fabric of life. Abundance is. You are part of that same creation, part of that same divine order, which means that prosperity is not outside of you, it is within you. It is your true state, waiting for you to accept and embody it. The reason so many struggle is because they have forgotten their natural alignment. They have believed in struggle more than in ease, in lack more than in supply, in fear more than in faith. And life, being a mirror, has simply reflected those beliefs back to them. Yet the moment you awaken to the truth that prosperity is your natural state, everything shifts. You stop striving, you stop begging, you stop chasing, and instead you begin to align, to trust, to allow. Prosperity flows not to the one who grasps desperately, but to the one who remembers, this is who I am. I was made for increase. I was designed for overflow. There is no virtue in poverty. There is no holiness in fear of supply. There is nothing noble about believing you were created to barely survive. You were created to thrive. Prosperity is not selfish. It is a tool for expansion, a channel for service, a vessel for blessing. When you prosper, you can bless others. When you prosper, you can give generously. When you prosper, you can create, build, and uplift. To deny prosperity is to deny the fullness of the life you were given. To embrace prosperity is to step into the flow of divine order, where there is always more than enough. So how do you step into this truth? You begin by letting go of the lie of separation. Many live as though supply is outside of them, as though God, the universe, or fate is withholding from them. But prosperity does not come from the outside. It is not controlled by markets, bosses, or governments. Those may be channels, but they are not the source. The source is infinite and within. When you align inwardly, outward channels open. When you trust inwardly, opportunities appear. When you affirm inwardly, resources gather. This